kilos, and a female, she can weigh between 4 and 6 kilos. So when they're in a group like this, it's great because you can easily tell the girls from the boys. The girls are smaller and the boys are bigger. That's the only difference between the girls and the boys. Oh, I forgot to tell the people in the front row that they might end up with a fish in their lap as well. But anyway, too late for that. If you have a look at that beak, you can see that hook on the end. That's used, that's used for hanging on slippery fish and also for preening their feathers. At the base of the tail, they have an oil gland. It's about the size of a 20-cent piece and shaped like a donut. They'll get that hook, rub it around that oil gland, get a little bit of oil, and then they comb their feathers out very, very carefully. They pay particular attention to the large, fine, light feathers that they have on the end of each wing. They also have a salt gland. It's situated in their skull, around the eye area, and this gland is responsible for taking the excess salt out of the bird's body. Up on the beak, near the feather line, there's two little slits, and this is where the excess salt will run out of the bird's body. It'll run down the beak and drip off the end of the beak. So if you see a drippy pelican, he's dripping excess salt. They do live in fresh water. If they are living in fresh water, their diet would be freshwater fish, frogs, tadpoles, crustaceans, and they don't mind having a little nibble on ducklings. One mouthful and down they go. We've got some very cheeky pelicans here today. They've got their head in the bucket. Wendy's actually holding the beak of one pelican, trying to get him away. She's got her leg on the other side, very ladylike. And they're a bit feisty today. When they're fishing, they're very, very clever. They fish along together. They help each other along. They herd the fish in the shallow water. They dunk their heads, grab their fish, and then they toss it around so it goes down head first to avoid any injury to the throat. You would think such a large bird would eat a lot of fish, but they don't. They only eat 1 or 2 kilos of fish a day. And we're feeding them a little mixture today, a little bit of blackfish and a little bit of mullet. But mullet is their absolute favourite, so that's why they're a bit silly today, I think. And our fish is supplied by Jimbo Seafood. When a pelican turns around 3 or 4 years old, they're ready to breed, and this is indicated by the pouch. It goes very, very supple and builds out and turns a beautiful scarlet pink colour. Yellow ring around the pelican's eyes will turn a beautiful daffodil yellow. And there's a couple of pelicans on the platform now displaying that beautiful scarlet pink pouch. And both of these colorations appear on the male and the female. And it indicates that they're ready to breed. The nest of the pelican is made by mum pelican. It's just a dip in the ground, and this is where she lays her eggs. She'll lay 2 or 3. They're white in colour and about the size of a very large duck egg. And both parents will share incubation or sitting on the eggs to keep them nice and warm for about 35 days. And then these eggs start to hatch, and when they hatch out, the babies are naked and pink, and they're so tiny they can fit in the palm of our hand. And I'm sorry to say, at this stage they're quite ugly. And they're very, very dependent on mum and dad to look after them. For the first 2 weeks, they're fed a very thick, fishy saliva that mum and dad produce. And then after that time, they go off fishing, come back to the nest, regurgitate fish, and pick it up to feed these babies. And as these babies grow, they actually shove their head right down mum and dad's throat to get that fish for themselves. Baby pelicans grow extremely quickly, something so tiny that can fit in the palm of our hand. 16 weeks later, now, that's how quickly they grow. 16 weeks, they're adult size. Fledged lemonhead. And we do have baby pelicans here at the feed. When you know what to look for, it's quite easy to spot. When the adults have black feathers, the babies or the juveniles have brown feathers. Now I can spot some babies out there swimming around in the water. And a little tip, when they're up on the platform, look at their legs. The lighter coloured legs are the baby's legs, or juveniles, that's the official term. They are about our babies, you can tell people that you have seen a baby pelican. They do exist. They don't depend on Lake Eyre to breed. That's why we have baby pelicans here. We're very fortunate to have a breeding ground in the Gosford Shire, so some of these fairy birds will fly back to that breeding ground, regurgitate these fish and feed their babies. Our pelican feed here started quite by accident around 19-something, I've forgotten. I never forget. Anyway, it started quite a few years ago. When Clifford's Fish and Chip Shop used to throw their fish scraps to the pelicans every day after the day's training, it became such a habit that when the boys at the shop were late, the pelicans would actually march across the road where the water park is today. There used to be a main road, so off they toddle across the road and just swing around the shop just to remind the boys that they would like their fish. Thank you very much. Alright, have your cameras ready. We're going to ask these feral beasts a question. Oh, they're paying attention. Pelicans, are you enjoying your feed today? Ah, yeah. Aren't they clever? They know every word I say. And we had our beautiful feeding platform built, and we have had hundreds of visitors come to see our beautiful birds, rain, hail or shine. We're here every day, and we appreciate every coin that you pop in our bucket. We also have people on the lookout for sick and injured pelicans. Remembering I said earlier they do feel pain, and that's exactly what Daniel's doing today on the edge of the platform. He's looking for pelicans that have fishing tackle caught up in them. A fishing hook will not rust away out of the bird's body. It becomes internal, and fishing lines wrap around a bit in time that could actually fall off. So here at the Pelican Feed, we actually catch these birds, remove the offending item, and if need be, we take them off to the vet. But we can all play a part. When we're out and about, just be alert to what's going on around you. If you happen to see a bird out there caught up in fishing tackle, take a few moments to ring your local wildlife group, whether you're here or at home. Whether you're here or at home, that's the best way we can help these birds, remembering that they do feel pain, and with our help, we can keep them around for a lot longer. You may notice when they open their mouths, you can see a little hole down their throat. That's the bird's wing pipe. They breathe through that. They don't have nostrils up on their beaks. So when they eat their fish will go down their throat behind that wing pipe. And it has a very strong valve on it that opens and closes. So when they're fishing, they clamp it on shut so no water goes down into their lungs. They take on about 13 litres of water when they're fishing. So that windpipe certainly has to be closed off to avoid any water going down. Just their yummy fish. They don't store food in their pouch. You may notice a few pelicans with a square neck. That's them holding the fish, not allowing it to go down into their tummy. After the pelican feed, they'll fly off to a secluded location and regurgitate that fish. And regurgitate that fish and re-eat it more slowly, allowing it to go down and coming. When they go to bed at night, it's called roosting. They roost on the ground, not in the tree. They close their eyes, they do have eyelids, and then they go to sleep. And they also have ears, they're just little holes in the sides of their head, about a centimetre away from their eyes. And they're all seeing and all knowing, these birds. You saw them, how eager they looked when they knew that the fish was coming down. The yellow coloration on their chest is just from swimming in dirty water. You may notice the juveniles or the babies, they don't have that colour because they haven't been out and about as much as the adults. It's an optical illusion.